Rural Americans are bad people who have made bad life decisions. This nostalgia for some imagined pastoral way of life is stupid, and we should shame people who aren't pro-city. What say you?
Live happy, fun-loving, and carefree.
Are rural people bad people? What the heck? Why are pro-city urban people, why do they have such an issue with people that decide to live in a rural setting? You know, all of this mumbo-jumbo stuff about being uneducated, being, uninformed, a drain on society. Where are city people coming up with this stuff? I don't get it. I'm a live and let live kind of guy. And yeah, roughly 80% of the people in the United States live in urban settings. And hey, I don't want everybody living out here in the country. That's just crazy. But why do we have this divide that for some reason people in the city think that people in the country are all banjo players? Why? And I just don't understand that. Not everybody can be a lawyer or a city person or whatever. And we need everybody. Where does your food come from? Duh. And I think, city people, you become very focused on one thing. I mean, if you live in an apartment in the city and your toilet starts leaking, you call the super and somebody comes and fixes it. You don't take care of things yourself. And, people out in the country have to wear multiple hats. You have to do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different things. And you'll see it where, somebody might be a teacher and they work in the grocery store on the weekend, or somebody sells real estate and they drive a school bus, and somebody has a daycare center. People do multiple things in the country, but it doesn't mean that everybody that lives in the country is an uneducated type person. People actually do like to live in the country, and rural, that's America. That's the definition of America, is the rural lifestyle. And where these East Coast, West Coast type of people, they're elitist thinking that somehow people that live in the country are beneath them. I mean, that's crazy. Everybody is important. And I really try to avoid generalizing. But, everybody's job is important. We need the guys that clean the sewers just as much as we need the heart surgeons, in the hospitals. And it takes everyone. We need farmers to grow food and truckers to drive the food and stores to sell the food. We all need to work together. I don't understand, why do pro-city people feel they're above? And I'm not saying that everybody thinks that way, but the powers that be, the elite people, think that way. I mean, I really don't want to talk politics here, but look at who's, Bloomberg. I wasn't going to mention any kind of names, but his crazy thing about drinks and straws and salts and all kinds of things that, somehow the powerful people think they know what's best for everybody else. I mean, that, to me, that is just foolishness. So, people that live in the city, great, live in the city, but don't think people that live out in the country are bad people that have made bad decisions and they deserve that life that they're living, and we should make them feel bad for that country life, that you're somehow some sort of awful person, because there are educated people that live in the country. Surprisingly, some people actually have chosen to live in the country, even though they were born in a big city and lived in big cities. They say, hey, I want a crime-free life. Now, granted, there is crime out in the country, but it's certainly nothing like the crime in a big city where gangs and shootings and drugs and all kinds of awful things happen every day. And that's and again, there are things that happen out in the country, but it's certainly nothing to the scale of what happens in a city. And things like, we're practical in the country, that our footwear, our clothing, it serves a purpose. It's practical. We don't walk around in $800 shoes and hope that they don't get wet or damaged. We don't wear fancy coats that don't even keep you warm in the winter, but boy, they sure look nice because we saw it in some magazine. The things that we do in the country serve a purpose, and they're practical. Our vehicles, the same thing. We don't drive around in $100,000 fancy looking car. It's got to be practical. We need a practical car. We need a practical truck. We need something that can pull a trailer. Things have value and serve a purpose. And it's just sometimes that's the silly. I mean, I'm just wearing a knit hat and because it's keeping my ears warm. I don't have fancy hats that look fashionable that I paid some insane amount of money for. This was like, $10 at the local feed store. So it takes everybody to live together. Do you think rural people are bad people? Do you think city people are bad people? I mean, this is just foolishness. We're all in this together. We're all in the same boat, if you will, the right wing and the left wing. We all have to work together and get along. You city people, stay in the city if that's what you like. I like it out here in the country. Bonnie likes it out here in the country. What you doing, girl? Good girl, Bonnie. So, subscribe if you're enjoying this foolishness, and watch another video that I've picked out for you to watch that I think you'll like. It's all about living happy, living fun-loving, and living carefree, whatever that means for you in your life. I like my life. I want you to like your life.